Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler video series videos I've been doing for a little while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie, this wasn't what I was intending to review today, but we're sliding it in there. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. And folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? Happens to be my Steel Dawn shirt, starring Patrick Swayze. He's awesome. Oh, I love Steel Dawn. If you're unfamiliar with Steel Dawn, by the way, it was a relatively early film for Patrick Swayze. Definitely before, he became famous. Roadhouse and Ghost and what have you. But, it's honestly a really cool movie. It's a fun sort of post-apocalyptic, quasi-martial arts movie. And honestly, it's a lot of fun. It has a great cast. His future wife is actually in it. There's, a lot to love about it. It's kind of a low-budget affair and stuff like that for what it is, but, that's okay. It still works out really well. Still got Patrick Swayze kicking ass. And, I saw this movie probably, in my late teens, maybe very early 20s. It was a movie I saw on one of the movie channels, one of the free channels where they just dump whatever they could get their hands on there. And I liked it a lot, and then finally, years later, I was able to get a hold of a copy for myself, and now it's even out on Blu-ray, so highly recommend this one. But anyway, what am I trying for today, folks? What are we doing here? It has absolutely nothing to do with Patrick Swayze, I don't think. Well, folks, I was originally planning to go over there and review an Animal Cracker Icy for you, but I went over there and I went to turn that spigot, and boy, oh boy, was it not going to work properly. So instead, I hopped on out to the Starbucks that happened to be right next to it. And what did I get from Starbucks? This is a new holiday item. This is their Cran-Merry. Oh, I see what you did there, Starbucks. You think you're being coy. Their Cran-Merry Orange Lemonade Refresher. That sounds good to me. So let's get a thing for a thing. It looks like this one, kind of like, ha 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 ha. It looks really cool, and there's actually cranberries on top, which is neat. So let's see how it is. Only thing I wish is that I should have grabbed one of the tiny straws so I could kind of mix it up a little bit. But let's give it a go anyway. Oh boy, it's dark. Okay. Ooh. That'll fucking wake you up. I appreciate the fact that they managed to cut the cranberries small enough that you can actually get them through the tiny hole. So that's cool. But boy, oh boy, that is a hit, man. Okay. So when you still got a kick to it. When you don't get any of the cranberries directly, it's a little bit easier to take in. When you get one of the cranberries, man, you get hit with that cranberry tartness. And boy, oh boy, do I hope that you like that. For me personally, if you watch the channel, you probably know, I'm not the biggest tart guy in the world. I'm not super duper against it, but it's not my favorite of the flavor sensations. So for me, the addition of the cranberries might be a little bit much for my personal palate. But I will say, again, they're going to give you a kick in the head, man. That'll fucking wake you up. The drink itself still has some zip to it, for sure, but it is definitely diminished. You do have that blend of the cranberry and the citrus. It's kind of nice. You get sort of a dryness, but then also a little acidity. So it's kind of an interesting flavor blend. Ooh. But yeah. It definitely has that tartness throughout. That is not a bad drink. at all, but boy oh boy, it might be a little bit too far off the radar for what I'm personally into. It is nice though. It's very fruity, kind of semi-sweet. You know, it's got some sweetness, but nothing crazy. And then, like I said, I do like the way the flavors are blended on it with the cranberry and the orange. You know, the cranberry definitely outweighs the orange for sure. But the orange is in there. Like I said, it gives a little acidity, a little, you know, kind of vibrancy. You know, because again, with the cranberry, it gives it kind of a dryness. So it's just once it gets to that midway point, ugh, that tartness really kicks in, and because it does have that dryness, like there's nowhere for it to go. Like it doesn't dissipate. It just hits you in waves. Um, yeah, okay. Uh, I mean, it's refreshing. I'll say that much for it. This is one of those things where, like I was saying, like I don't think it's a bad drink. I just think this is just, it's not a Brandon Wenzel drink, which you know. Mm. Oh man, when you get one of those cranberries, that just definitely takes it two over the top for me. All right, well, oh yeah. Two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? No and sure. For me personally, I don't. I wouldn't say actively dislike it. I guess. Like again, I don't think it's a bad drink, but it is definitely too much for my personal palate with the tartness. And it's not crazy tart or anything, but like I am the type of person when it comes to tartness, like I'm fine with it to an extent. But if you're gonna do that, you really need to create some nice contrast, you know, some sweetness or something to sort of offset it a little bit. And while there is some of that through the orange, I do not feel like there's enough. Like the cranberry just too heavily outweighs the rest of it for me personally. Um, but again, I don't think it's bad. Like it tastes refreshing. The taste of the drink is actually nice. It's just when it gets to that tartness, it's actively almost unpleasant for me, you know. And again, that's just me personally. That's why, like, I don't think I would get it again, but would I recommend it? Kind of, yeah, because this is one of those ones where if you look at it and it sounds like something that you personally would be into, I would say go for it. When I looked at this, I saw it and I was like, okay, all right, you know, I saw the cranberry as being, I was like, cranberry, okay. And then, you know, the orange, and I was like, okay, I like orange. And then I was like, lemonade. I'm like, well, I like lemon. I fucking love lemonade. But it was one of those things where, like, the cranberry had me hesitant, you know, from the get-go. But if it's one of those things where if you look at it and you're like, fuck, I love cranberry, well, boy, oh boy, have I got the drink for you. But on the other side of that, if you're not into cranberry, if you don't like tart stuff, I would maybe pass on this one because it's definitely got, like, a proper kick to it. And, like, again, you know, I don't think it's a bad drink. It's too much for me personally. But you're not me. I don't think you're me anyway. If you're me, then maybe there's like a whole Mr. Smith thing from The Matrix going on. And then am I me, or was I one of the guys who was assimilated? Does that mean I'm Hugo Weaving? Does that mean I have access to his bank account? Because that'd be fucking super. I don't know personally what he's got in there, but it's got to be a shitload more than I do. So, but yeah, not a bad drink. Just it's very specific to a very specific kind of taste bud. But 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, tremendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly cranberry-tastic rest of your life? Sure, why the hell not? I'm going to go with lemonade-tastic for me personally, but if you like cranberries. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your personal take on cranberry? Like I said, like I'm not actively against cranberry, but it needs to be in like the right circumstances. Like I love like when you take cranberry and put it with other things, I'm usually hugely in favor of it. Even if you go over there, use it like as like a sauce and like certain things, I think it can be wonderful. But man, oh man, it's just too much for me in one go. I think my first stepmom, I believe if I recall correctly, I think she was a big fan of cranberry juice. Get like the ocean spray or whatever the hell it is. And it kind of worked out for her because, I was a shitty little 9-year-old kid. So like I just, take whatever the hell was in the fridge. She knew if she bought that, I wasn't taking it. So yeah, it kind of worked out. And as far as I understand, well, I don't know what the hell she's doing these days. But whatever. Bye.